Welcome to Dellwood Golf Club. The first hole is a par 4 that plays between 314 to 364 yards. It's pretty much a straightaway par 4. You want to hit the fairway like always. Keep it out of that water on the left and right hand sides there. Kind of hit it just in short of the cart path going across there, and you have a pretty easy little short shot into the green. It's going to be a great birdie opportunity to get your round off to a good start. The second hole at Dellwood is a little bit tougher par 4. It plays from 279 to 404 yards. You'll see that it's a little bit of a dog leg to the right, and again, you pretty much want to hit the drive out there around that 150 yard marker, which we're just flying over now, maybe a little bit longer than that. Obviously keep it out of the water on the left and the right again, and you have a pretty reasonable 130-40 yard shot into a pretty easy flat green with bunkers on both sides of it. Another moderate birdie opportunity. Get your round off to a really good start. The third hole at Dellwood is a beautiful par 3 played mostly over water. It ranges from 257 to 223 yards. It's a rather large green. Your objective should be to stay out of that sand trap on the front right, and that should give you the opportunity to have some pretty long putts probably, but at least get a 2-putt par out of the hole. The fourth hole at Dellwood is getting a little bit tougher par 4. You come out of this chute right here to a slight dogleg left hole. It's playing from 290 to 425 yards. So again, there's sand traps out there, so you want to eliminate those if you want any chance of a par. There's a little water way to the left, and there's some trees on the right that you probably want to stay away from. They're not very big, but you still don't want to be over there. You want to hit the fairway. It's a pretty good strategy no matter what golf hole you're playing, I suppose. You have a mid-iron into a green that's kind of sloped towards you, so it should hold the ball pretty well. And again, another hopefully on the green, or a lot of chipping area around there that you can get up and down for a par again. The fifth hole at Dellwood is the number 1 handicap hole. It's a rather longish par 5, a little dog leg to the right, kind of a double dog leg. It comes back towards the left up by the hole. It's playing from 438 to 526 yards. And a little water off to the right there, and there's water that you see there further to the right on the right side of the fairway. A little creek or area to the left you don't want to be in. It's going to be a 3-shot hole for most people, but a rather large receptive green again, so hopefully you get a par on this one. The sixth hole at Dellwood is a straightaway par 3. It's one of the easiest holes on the course. It's handicap 17. It plays between 147 and 207 yards. About the only issue you're going to have on this hole is the 4 large sand traps that surround the green. Stay away from those and it should be an easy par. The seventh hole at Dellwood is a great dogleg left par 4. It plays from 337 to 433 yards. As you can see, it's quite narrow off the tee. You want to definitely stay out of the trees on the left. There's also water at the corner of the dogleg up here that you got to stay out of. I think the best drive here is something up the right center of the fairway that you control the distance on. You got to make sure you get it out past these trees, and then somehow short of going into the rough through the fairway. As you turn the corner here on this hole, you can see what I'm talking about, where there's water there that you want to stay away from. If you hit it out into that area, you should have, depending upon where it is, obviously 160 to 170 yards into a rather flat, unguarded green that with a good shot there, you should be able to put it near the green, hopefully get a par or at worst a bogey. Well, here we are in the 8th hole. It's a nice par 5. It plays from 431 to 504 yards. It's we just had a great dogleg left par 4. Now we've got our even greater par 5 that's a dogleg right. Again, you got to control the length of your drive. You got to get it out here past all these trees on the right, so you've got an open shot into this approach to the green anyway. Somewhere out here, but not too long. If you're a big fader of the ball, you can maybe get it up by this sand trap here on the left-hand side, but the risk reward on that is probably not worth it. Going forward from here, you want to keep away from that tree. I can't imagine there's too many pars when you hit that tree on the left, but pretty narrow approach for a par 5. I'd like to get it past that tree or on the right-hand side of the fairway for a easy pitch into this green. The 9th hole at Dellwood is their signature hole. It plays from 308 to 381 yards. It's par 4. Your first objective is to get the ball off the tee over this water hazard in front of the tee, and hopefully you can land your drive somewhere just left of this sand trap up here on the right, and keeping it right of these two large trees on the left-hand side of the fairway. That should give you a pretty easy middle iron to short iron into this slightly elevated green, and hopefully give you a nice par or birdie opportunity to end your front 9. The 10th hole at Dellwood is pretty much a straightaway par 4, plays from 308 to 435 yards. Quite a variation in yardage depending upon the tee you choose, but if you hit the ball in the fairway, you want to keep out of the rough on the left and that sand trap. You should have a pretty easy shot, middle iron, say, into this green. The 11th hole at Dellwood is the number 2 handicap hole. It's par 4 that plays from 327 to 433 yards. Plays a little longer than that because of the water that runs across this very narrow fairway up here. The objective is to hit the fairway, and hopefully you can get it out there in the range you have 150, 160 yards into this green. The miss you want is off to the right here, so you can avoid that sand trap, and you should have an opportunity to get it up and down for par. The 12th hole at Dellwood is a beautiful par 3 that plays between 113 and 178 yards. As you can see, the only trouble on the hole is short right in the water or anything up the left side in the trees. So you definitely want to hit the ball straight, get it on the green, you have an opportunity for par or maybe even a 2. The 13th hole at Dellwood is a great dogleg left par 5 that plays from 406 yards to 544 yards. Ideally, you'd like to hit your drive out to just short of the sand trap here. That's depending upon your tee box, that's going to be a big drive. But you want to be about 200 to 250 yards into this green. You got a little risk-reward decision to make here, whether you lay up short of the water or try to get over it for an easy chip shot. The 14th hole at Dellwood is a par 4 with a slight dogleg left. It plays 319 to 421 yards. Like most holes out here, it requires you to put your drive in the fairway. You've got water pretty much all the way up the right-hand side and out of bounds up the left-hand side. So if you can hit the fairway, you should have a relatively easy shot into an unprotected green. There's no sand traps around it, and if you do miss the green, you should have a pretty easy up and down for your par. The 15th hole at Dellwood is a nice little dogleg left par 4. Plays from 340 yards to 398 yards. It's kind of like that 7th hole you played earlier. I think it's a little easier in that you can lay the driver up a little shorter here than you'd have to on 7. Right at the corner here is about 150 yards in. I think we'll be flying over that right about now. And so you have a pretty good opportunity to get the ball on this green and have either a par or birdie, worst case a bogey. The 16th hole at Dellwood is another par 3 played mainly over water. It goes from 131 to 226 yards. Difficulty on this hole varies depending upon where they're going to put the pin. When they put it on the front left, like you see here, it's a pretty easy hole. They put it on the back of the green or any place on the right center of the green, the hole becomes much more difficult. The 17th hole at Dellwood is a fun dogleg left par 5. Plays from 421 to 521. It's a real risk-reward hole. You can hit your drive over the corner here on the left if you're a big hitter, a little draw on it, and have a much shorter shot into the green. The more conservative approach would be to hit it out at the turn of the fairway here someplace, in the fairway obviously, and have a much easier second shot to just lay up. If you do cut the corners, you can see you can get up here to where you can probably reach this green again if you're a big hitter. The preferred, I think, conservative approach would be to hit your second shot somewhere in here in this slightly wider part of the fairway, which should give you a 50 to 60 yard pitch into this green, make it a pretty easy par. Your finishing hole here at Dellwood is a par 4 slight dogleg left that plays from 311 to 395 yards. Try to hit your drive just right of this sand trap here on the left hand side of the fairway, and that should give you a relatively easy shot into this multiple tiered green. You have to kind of watch the pin placement there to make sure you get on the right level when you hit your approach shot in. But if you land your drive out there, you should have about 130, 140 yards into this green. Hopefully you can end your round on a birdie. And thank you for playing Dellwood Golf Club.